Welcome into our next two-a-day segment here on the Hill in Sugar Creek. Joe Geckler, Logan Mcpeek with you for the Garaway Pirates, brought to you by Eagle Machinery. And Logan, football season is here already. It's hard to believe, man. It feels like we were down in Athens and covering softball this year, and all of a sudden it's football season again. But, man, great to have you on board with Big Z Sports. Thanks so much for coming out and joining us, and we're looking forward to your coverage this year. And, you know, we're going to talk a little bit about the Garaway Pirates, though. Last year, 11-3, 4-1 in the IVC, regional runner-up to Kirtland, the eventual state champions. But a lot back for the Pirates, a tough schedule ahead, and be anxious to talk to Coach Wallick about that coming up.
Absolutely, and if you're looking for the model of consistency around this area, you come to the Hill in Sugar Creek and the Garaway Pirates. Every single year it feels like they're making a run to the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8 or in some cases the Final Four. Every year you have Garaway knocking on the door, and I have a great feeling that this year is going to be no different despite losing their entire front six.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge for them up front, and I know Coach Wallick will want to talk about that here coming up. We'll be joined by Coach Wallick right after this. Welcome back into our two-a-day segment. Joe Geckler with head coach Jason Wallick. And, Coach, year number 26. And you 198 and 78 on your career. Last year, you guys were 11-3, 4-1 in the IVC. Number 7 seed in Division 6, Region 21. You lost to the nemesis Kirtland in the regional final game, 21-7. Let's talk about last year one last time and kind of put the capper on that. What a great season again for you guys. Another appearance in the regional finals. An impressive 10-year run for the Pirates. You guys seem like you're in the Sweet 16, Elite 8, even Final Four every year. Talk about your team last year and kind of what those seniors meant to you.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really special group. And when you look back at the beginning of the year last year, we knew we had a lot of linemen coming back offensively, defensively. We had a lot of unanswered questions at our skill positions. And, the first 3-4 games, we were trying to figure some things out, and unfortunately, we didn't get a whole lot of reps against Riverview. They're a rebuilding team. They've struggled in the past here recently, and then the week 2 debacle with the Expression Prep team. So we didn't get a whole lot of exposure. We didn't get out of our schedule what we needed to find out, who could and couldn't play. We go into week 3 with Norwayne. We won a tight one. Some things got exposed, and Zanesville. We go down there, and again, they were a rebuilding team last year. And then we faced Girard in week 5, and we make the long haul up there, and really got exposed. They took us to the woodshed, and made a lot of changes after that game. We look back at that game and realize. Just for an example, defensively, we had 7 guys in that game playing defense that we either moved or didn't play a whole lot, moving forward. So we made some wholesale changes and, just kind of really got us going then in week 6, getting into the IVC. I thought we got a lot better. We started to get healthier. Coming into the season last year, we thought our D-line would be our strength because those guys were back. They were 2 or 3 year starters for us. And those guys played the first series against Riverview and never played again together until the first series against Ridgewood, week 10. So, it was frustrating. It was a frustrating year because, like I said, you have a little success at the beginning of the year. We did not get exposed. And once we did get exposed week 5, I thought it made our team a lot closer, made our team a lot stronger. And then we were able to, to make a nice little run in the playoffs and, get into the regional final again, as you said, and Kirtland, we really feel we've closed that gap with them. We had them on their heels, middle of the fourth quarter and thought, we'd take a shot there after a turnover, and we turned it right back over to them. But we knew all along that if we had a chance to take a shot, we were going to take a shot, and that was really the turning point in the game. Yeah, last year was really – it was a rewarding season because of the way we grew,
Sure.
And the way that our team grew, and the way that our kids got better as the year went on. They faced a lot of adversity. We know in life we're going to face a lot of adversity, and those guys handled it really well. Stuck together, grew, bonded, and we were hard out then in a tournament.
You were for sure. And looking at your overall team stats last year, you guys were pretty balanced offensively, averaging about 145 yards on the ground, about 181 yards through the air. You scored 31 touchdowns running the ball and throwing the ball last year. You didn't turn the ball over very much, though. Only 3 interceptions on the season. You put the ball on the ground a couple times via fumbles, but you know what? Defensively, it was a defensive year we expect from the Garaway Pirates, only giving up 14 points a game, 98 yards on the ground, only 115 through the air, and 8 interceptions. But like you mentioned, you lost some key guys off of that defense, Colson Keller, Dylan King, Cooper Gentz, Wyatt Miller, Micah Yoder. I mean, those guys were stalwarts defensively and some even offensively for you. But, 2026 is here. You got a new group of Pirates out here on the field practicing, getting ready for week number 1, and that'll be here before you know it. And, you look at some of the guys you have coming back this year. Your quarterback Grady Miller in his second-year starter, Matthew Fry, Trey Miller, Wyatt Reifenschneider, Thomas Grimm, Wyatt Gordon, A.J. Miller's out this year to play football. So it's going to be a fun, exciting year and some new names to learn for the Pirates.
Yeah, it will be, and like I said at the beginning, we, coming into last year, we thought our offensive line, defensive line would be our strengths. We lost all of our skill kids from the year before. The Tide it's just a complete turntable this year. We lose all of our linemen. We lost our, all of our defensive linemen. Those 3 that you just mentioned that were really good players for us. And we lose 4 out of our 5 offensive linemen. So we've got some kids back that have some experience. They had some experience in the first few games last year and had some injuries, so they didn't get to continue playing or they didn't perform, and they have another opportunity this year to prove themselves. But skill-wise, yes, we've got kids returning in critical, crucial situations and positions. But it'll be the guys up front and how well those guys have come along. Listen, we've had a great offseason. They've worked hard in a weight room. They've really bonded together. Now we just need them to go out and perform. Take all the early morning workouts and the extra time spent up here at the field together and doing those things together, and that they've bonded. And now we just need to perform on the field, and we'll find that out on Saturday when we scrimmage. So, we're looking forward to it. We feel that we're pretty athletic. We're not blazing speed, fast. I think our defense is going to be really quick all the way around. We're going to be bigger up front offensively. If things pan out the way we think they could pan out, we'll be really big. But that's not who we've been in the past, so we'll see how that works out. And that'll be a challenge. So, sure. But you got, like you said, you got a running back, quarterback back, a couple of receivers back. Defensively, we've got guys back at every level except for up front. So, when you lose those guys, they're going to be hard to replace.
Sure, absolutely. And we were talking before we came on the air here, Jason, about your schedule. This is quite an impressive schedule that you put together. Of your 10 games this year, 7 teams were in the playoffs last year. And what's crazy about this schedule? You play no team in Division 6, and you only play 1 team in Division 7. Everybody else is bigger than you. In your Division 6, how does that prepare you for the second season?
Well,
I guess you got to get there, but, it prepares you for it.
We got to get there for one. And let me tell you, it's not by choice. When you're scheduling Division 3, Zanesville, Division 4, Canton South, Division 4, Indian Valley, state champions a few years ago, Division 4, Claymont, Division 5, Girard.
Norwayne.
That's really good. Norwayne is really good. Yes, Dalton's Division 7, but they would have easily been a regional final team if we hadn't beat them last year in Week 13. So our schedule is brutal. Not by design, not by choice. We want to play good football. We want to play good football teams. Unfortunately, listen, we're still a Division 6 football school. Sure. We still have 75 kids in a graduating class. But it's what these kids have earned. The time, the commitment, what our past kids have built here. Scheduling is very tough. It's not easy. In fact, the other night, Matt Lancaster at Indian Valley says they still have an open Week 4 game because nobody wants to play Indian Valley Division 4 state champion. I mean, and last year, they get beat by Glenville in the state semifinals. I mean, so we're extremely happy that Grady Kinsey's gone, by the way, too. But listen,
sure
they're still. Matt has done a great job down there and built one heck of a program. and they're going to be really, really good still. But yeah, when you have success, your schedule gets tough.
Yeah.
And it is really tough. I remember 26 years ago when we started out, and we had to dummy down our schedule too because we, were struggling to win games. And when you're trying to build a program to get kids out, you've got to find ways to get wins. But at the same time, I think there's a fine line there where you've got to schedule teams that are going to expose you, like a Girard.
Sure.
Like a Canton South. Hopefully, they're going to expose us early. Hopefully, we can find a way to pull out a win in week one and find out, maybe more about our team. A lot of those unanswered questions, hopefully we can find those out earlier than week 5, like, it took us last year. So we're looking forward to it. Our kids know our schedule's tough. They've known that the entire offseason. They've worked their tails off to prepare themselves for that schedule. We got to stay healthy. Our numbers are great. We've got 60 kids, but we don't have a lot of depth.
Sure.
So we feel that we'll platoon if things work out. We'll platoon 10 guys, hopefully.
Sure.
That's our goal. That's our plan. But those kids that we have in those spots right now are going to have to perform. Because I think we'll be a better team if we can platoon and if we can make the tournament. I really believe we can make a long run in the tournament, in Division 6, because we are a Division 6 team playing a Division 4 and 5 schedule, and that's a little frustrating. But
Sure.
That's for a discussion for another day.
So maybe not on camera.
Well, probably not. But yeah, we're excited. We hope to be able to win enough games to make us tournament eligible, and then get there somewhat healthy and be able to make a long run.
Last thing here, we talk every year, whether it be in our pregame interviews or these season previews. The community support that you have here at Garaway is unbelievable, and the facilities were upgraded yet again this year. Talk about that brand new press box that's right behind us, and what the community has done for you. It's a beautiful piece. It really adds a lot to this field. Talk about the new press box and what it's going to help for you guys. Obviously, a bigger, more media be here for you. That'd be great for you, right? But great new piece of the facility and a great upgrade.
Yeah. Listen, I say it all the time, what a great community, supportive community that we live in. And when you look at this place and think about 26 years ago or 28 years ago when I got here, with the cinder track and the wood bleachers and dressing at the school and, mowing the field ourselves, painting the field ourselves. I trenched the water lines myself to put a sprinkling system in so we didn't have to move hoses around. And but that's all because of the community support that we have gotten, and now to build a new press box, something that was much needed for our community.
Sure.
It does nothing for us as coaches. It does nothing for us as for our team as players. It doesn't make us a better team because we have a new press box. But it is beautiful. It's air conditioned, heated. All the modern day technology stuff in there, the video boards and everything else, but it doesn't make us a better football team. But it definitely shows the community support that we have, and we can't do that without our community. Like I said, we have 60 kids. Doesn't necessarily mean we have 60 football players. We have kids who want to be a part of this program just because we've had some success. We've got kids who just love the camaraderie, the family atmosphere. But yeah, Joe, listen, I can't be more blessed for where I'm at. What I've had the last 26 years, things haven't always been easy. We've always, I've got bumps in the road, and we know that. And but that's just another step of life in this great game that teaches you so many life lessons, and how to fight through things and keep moving forward, and et cetera. Obviously. So yes, I am very thankful for the community support. I'm very thankful for our administration. That's given me this opportunity. I'm very thankful for my tremendous coaching staff that puts in endless hours and time, and just very blessed, very blessed.
Absolutely, and you mentioned your coaching staff. I did see it got a little bit bigger this year, so you got a few more guys out there to help. But, for all the fans out there watching, just so you know, if you don't know already, Big Z Sports will have every single Garaway football game, either on live stream, on the radio. We will have you covered with all the Garaway Pirates action you need and want this year on Big Z Sports. Big thanks to head coach Jason Wallick for letting us come out, take a look at practice, and chat with him for a few minutes. We'll see you at our next two-a-days after this. Welcome back to the Hill and Sugar Creek. Joe Geckler, Logan Mcpeek, and big thanks to head coach Jason Wallick for joining us there on the segment for two-a-days. He's very excited about this season, Logan. He has a lot of potential. He talked about the schedule a little bit. 7 playoff teams this year on the schedule. He doesn't play one team in Division 6, which is crazy to me. He plays Dalton, which dropped to Division 7 this year, but everybody else is either 3, 4, or 5.
And that's just going to prepare them, though, for the tournament. Now, obviously, as Coach Wallick said, if they can get into the tournament. But that schedule, all it does is it just prepares you for that end of season, especially as prepares you for the IVC, because the IVC is a gauntlet year in and year out with Indian Valley and Ridgewood, and Claymont is a really formidable foe this year. So that IVC is going to be a challenge. That non-conference schedule is going to be a challenge for the Pirates. But if there's any team that we know in the area is going to compete as well as anybody, it's Garaway.
Absolutely, and Coach is excited about what he has coming back. He has his quarterback back. He has a running back back. He has some key players on defense back. He's got new coaches out there to help, and, it's going to be a fun year for the Garaway Pirates. And Big Z Sports will have all of the Garaway Pirates games covered for you, whether it be on the radio on 99.9 WTUZ, on our YouTube channel, Big Z Sports, or even on our audio cast on our YouTube. We'll have every single game from week 1 all the way until their season is over, which they're hoping for the first week of December.
Absolutely.
Again, Joe Geckler, Logan Mcpeek here for our two-a-day segment. We're wrapping up here on the Hill in Sugar Creek. And again, the Garaway Pirates are brought to you by Eagle Machinery. We'll see you at our next two-day stop coming up soon.